People who pooped on the bathroom floor in high school. Why? Someone just destroyed a bathroom at my middle school I work at. It doesn't punish the school, a teacher or a principal. It punishes the custodians, who happen to be some of the nicest people you will ever meet. There is a mystery suspect making a mess of the bathrooms at my business right now. Not a school. Grown-ups, work here. Throwing used toilet paper on the ground, pissing all over, wiping poop on the toilet paper dispenser. They go to the bathroom with no cameras outside, but despite that I've still narrowed it down to one of about 12 people. I'll catch you eventually. For the same reason people knock over a garbage can, or plug up the sink. It's a small act of antisocial behavior. I worked in a movie theater as a teen. Right in the middle of the bathroom floor someone dropped one of the largest turds I've ever seen. The main log was incredibly dry and about the width of a Pringles can. I still debate to this day whether the poor bastard shat that out real time or multi-shat in an actual Pringles can and then dumped it on the floor. Given the size of the log, the time it would take any normal person to squeeze such a massive grogan out, and the absence of blood, I'm leaning toward the Pringles can theory. Edit. Thanks for the awards and opiate poop education everyone. You think this is limited to high school? I've heard horror stories from my friends who work in nice, professional offices where people poop on the floor and smear it all over the stalls. My chemistry teacher told us a story about a student, who I'm positive was an old god of law. He took a shit in a cabinet of the most hated teacher in a high school of 3,000 students, and that old cunt let it sit there for weeks. It hardened to the cabinet, and the only reason it got taken care of was because a student/someone reported the horrible smell. Why? Because she told him he couldn't go to the bathroom. No reason given. So this is slightly off topic, but relevant nonetheless. When I was young I went to after school care at a local rec center. One day I was there and went to use the bathroom. I was taking a leak at a urinal and I kept smelling shit and I figured someone had just took a huge dump recently and that's what I was smelling. So I finished up peeing and getting ready to go wash my hands and just happened to peek at the ceiling. I'm sure at this point you understand where this is going, but directly above where I was peeing, there was a turd stuck to the ceiling. A few months ago I actually walked in on this person literally taking a shit on the floor. We were the only ones and there it was a couple of hours after school had ended. I really didn't know what to do and was still for a few seconds before she started frantically talking and said something about it being an act of defiance or something and was saying she hated the school. I kinda just laughed it off for a second before leaving and going to another bathroom. I didn't say anything to a teacher because I think she was a 9th or 10th grader and I don't know her name. Definitely an interesting part of my education. Okay, it wasn't a bathroom floor, it was the floor of a laundromat at an apartment complex at which I lived. I was 12 and got home after walking from school, but dad hadn't gotten home yet so I was locked out of the apartment. For the record, as a kid I didn't shit at school. Couldn't. So now I didn't know what to do, but I knew the shit was coming. I tried holding it in, I promise. I moved around, tried occupying my mind with other things, tried running. Next thing I know I'm in the corner of the laundromat shitting on the floor. God, I'm so ashamed to admit this even 15 years later. I have nightmares about the cleaning staff or the unlucky tenant just trying to get their clothes out of the dryer and coming upon a steaming hot shit right the fuck there. I try to convince myself that they all must have thought it was a dog, but I remember that shit was distinctly human. It haunts my soul. Sophomore year of high school, a bunch of friends and I were drinking at this dude's house. We'll call him Greg. This was our first time drinking more or less, and we were just chilling, having few drinks. We were playing GTA and Greg walks into the bathroom, comes out a few minutes later, and sits down. Soon someone else goes into the bathroom, comes back and asks, almost like he's trying not to laugh, did someone take a shit on the floor? We all get up to investigate and sure enough, there it was, a big, slunking turd presented to us in the center of the cool linoleum, like it was on a silver fucking platter. We laughed ourselves to tears, looked up, and saw Greg sitting there. He is trying his absolute best to not start laughing, but this is the funniest shit he's ever seen. I asked him between my laughs, did you shit on your own bathroom floor? To which he replies, "Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be pretty funny." I'm using one of my throwaways for obvious reasons. I doubt anyone will read this at this point, but it's quite personal. I'm in therapy for a lot of things right now, and something I've researched a bit about is something that I did as a child that's about the same what Op asked. I moved a lot as a child. I wasn't at the same school 2 years in a row until 8th grade. In the earlier elementary years I used to smear my poops on the walls of the stalls. I remember it feeling out of body to me, like it wasn't me that decided to do it, it just happened. I've learned pretty recently that it's likely due to sexual abuse in my very early years. It's something like not feeling in control of your own body, so you're taking control of something. It's something that you make, that your body makes, and this is really all there is to do with it besides flushing it. I didn't do it every time I pooped, but until like 5th grade I caught my poop on some toilet paper, just to see how much it weighed. I never touched it to my skin, or smelled it or tasted it. It was more of a catch and release sort of thing, and sometimes I would smear it. We are going to do EMDR and therapy about it soon to see if that's the source of a lot of my deep shame feelings. If anyone here has read this far, if you catch a child doing this, or hear of someone that got caught doing it, keep an eye out for them. Be an ally by, at the very least, being kind to them and deterring further abuses on the playground. Help the rumor die if you can, or just don't spread it. That may be a child in need of the most dark kind of help. In our high school the refried beans literally looked like poop, so I once put it on the bathroom floor as a joke. It resulted in many angry Facebook posts. On my first deployment, someone took a massive shit in one of the toilets and covered it with an entire roll of toilet paper, and it stayed like that for days. Then, someone shit on top of that first layer and covered it with another huge wad of toilet paper. About 2 weeks later someone added another layer of shit and toilet paper, effectively creating a shit lasagna. Eventually it all disappeared. I'm not sure how, but I just know one day it was gone, and the madness was finally over. It wasn't in high school, but when I was a young kid out, public library was the spot to go to meet up other kids to walk around town. The security guard was a notorious asshole who would make groups of over 3 kids leave because of gang activity. After a few months of this going on, a few of the groups of kids would shit on the floor in the bathroom knowing he was the one that had to clean it. He didn't work there much longer. I was in high school, maybe middle school, but we were in a local park in my hometown where we always hung out and played games, airsoft, and other random stuff. I had to take a shit real bad one day and I couldn't make the 3 block or so run to my grandparents' house, so I sucked it up and ran into the park bathroom. I had a massive turd 90% of the way out of my ass when I realized there was no toilet paper anywhere to be found. So I shifted a bit and dropped that large turd right there on the cement floor. I haven't really thought about it since then, and now that the memory came back to me a decade later thanks to this question, I immediately regret it all. Edit. Sorry, 14-year-old me didn't think logically and not shit on the floor. If you think what you have to comment wouldn't persuaded me either way, then IDK. Prayers your way. Clearly this wasn't my peak, so lay off, you buttholes. Not entirely related, but we once had a rebellious kid smeared Vegemite across the walls of the bathroom. The VP had all the male students assembled in the hall, and he yelled at us for about 10 minutes about how there was feces on the bathroom wall, and how the cleaner had to suffer cleaning it up. Needless to say, it did not take long for word to get around that it was indeed Vegemite. I once took an insane amount of cough syrup during my high school philosophy class. The teacher decided to show a movie that day. Fucking great, right? Nope, 20 minutes in I got the strongest urge to just throw up everywhere. I didn't even ask the teacher to step out, I just straight up left and rushed towards the bathroom. I remember throwing up at the very entrance to the bathroom, leaving a trail of puke leading towards the toilet where I proceeded to regurgitate half my body weight. Fun times at Coral Park. I saw someone did this on my school's bathroom floor, and all I know is what horrible person would do this knowing a janitor would have to clean it up. Also, my school's janitors are the nicest people, so highly doubt it was someone doing it to get back at them.